Hi, this is Morgan at splendid.yoga. Let's do some yin poses, focusing on grounding Muladhara chakra. That's the pelvic floor chakra, the one at the base of your spine. Keeps you rooted to the earth. Let's start against the wall. In Malasana, the squat, you'll lean back against the wall, then slide down until your hips come to hover above the floor, your knees as flexed as they can be comfortably. Now, this is the key word, comfortably. We've got to work on this one, right? This is not an easy pose to hold. So if you have yoga blocks, if you have a stool, if you have a pillow or a couple of pillows or a couple of towels or blankets that you can fold up underneath you, place them underneath your seat. I'll show you a bunch of those options in the next few minutes. Get yourself so that your heels are resting comfortably on the ground. And so there's a compression in your hips. You want to set up your support underneath your seat so that your tailbone can hang, so you feel a lengthening in the low back just as much as that compression in your hips. So there's support there underneath you, and you're dropping your weight down into your feet more than into your tailbone. It's not hovering, it's still touching, it's still supported. There's some weight on there, but not all your weight. Some options for your arms. You can bring your palms together and your thumbs to your heart and stay seated really tall, and you can press your shoulders against the wall and spread your knees and your elbows out wide. But to make this really yin, relax your hands down to the ground and let yourself curl in. Really lengthening that tailbone right around the sacral area. So your sacrum is that bone, looks like a triangle. It's 5 fused vertebrae right at the base of your spine. And it's protecting that important part of your nervous system, the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight response. So because it's fused bone, right, it's not actually going to lengthen, but bone is malleable. But more importantly, the fascia, the connective tissues, the muscles that surround the bone, that's what we want to feel lengthening here. Feel the skin, the connective tissue, everything between the air and your sacrum really lengthening down towards the ground. Now, if you have a lot of knee and hip flexibility, you don't need to use the wall here. You don't need to use the support. You can take this one in the middle of the room. Just lowering your hips down to your heels, usually most comfortable with the toes pointed out. You want to find the one that's easier to, let that low back really hang. And for the yin version, really let your head hang down. So we'll be here for about another 2 minutes. Over and over again, let gravity take over. Over and over again, allow your back muscles to fall down, away from your spine, away from your ribs. Even those neck muscles, feel them being pulled down towards the earth. If you'd like a little bit more for the neck, clasp your hands around the base of your skull. You can hold that just for a moment, kind of lights things up. You can hold it for the last minute here in Malasana. All right, keep your head heavy. Let's move into Garland pose. So if you're against the wall, you're just slide your butt up the wall so your head basically stays in the same place. You can relax your hands down to the ground or clasp them at the base of your skull, or could even bring them down by your ankles, not to hold or grab or pull, just to touch. If it feels like the wall is pushing you forward, you can walk your feet more forward. Bend your knees a lot so you can really hang your whole torso down between your legs. So this is another pose that it just may not be comfortable, it just may not be possible for you to hold your balance here and relax. And certainly some muscles have to engage to keep your stability. So you can take a version of this seated. You just have a seat down on the ground, right there, right where you are, with your legs stretched out, and then fold forward. Bend your knees a lot, though, even in this seated variation. You can sit on your support if it was right there underneath you. You can also take this one away from the wall. You just want your feet wide enough so that you feel stable, and then your knees bent enough so that, your whole belly, all your ribs can rest down. And hang your head down just as far as it can go. And you can rest your arms on the ground here. It's nice for balance. But no weight in the hands. You're just draped there, like imagine the long fronds of a willow tree, just barely touching. You can also clasp your hands at the base of your skull. It gives you a little bit of extra traction if you'd like, just to light things up for a moment. Or for the last minute and a half here of our Garland pose. Feel the weight of gravity pulling the skin around your cheeks down to the ground. Feel the weight of your eyeballs against your eyelids. The weight of your hair pulling the skin of your skull down. All right, let's have a seat. Slide your butt all the way down to the ground for the seated half butterfly. Extend your left leg out. Bring the sole of your right foot to the inside seam of your left leg. And fold over your left leg. Really passive, chin to chest. Arms draped down, just like in the Garland pose. No weight, or as little weight as possible. If you have your blankets or your blocks or whatever you had around to support in your Malasana, you can use them here. If you don't have them, that's fine. You can stay right here. But your options, you have some of them. You could take a blanket, you could place it underneath your right or left knee to close off any space between the knee and the ground. You could use blocks in those same places. Or you could place your blocks on either side of your left leg and place your forearms on the blocks. If you can get down there, press your palms together and rest your third eye on your thumbs. Relax your left foot. Allow yourself to melt over and over again. Allow your muscles to relax over and over again. Relax. 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 Place your hands on the ground. Hang your head heavy and straighten your arms. And slide your hands towards you, one and then the other, to restack your spine. Slide your right hand behind you. Lift your left arm and your hips up. Press your whole left foot down. Reach your left arm overhead, then make a big, slow circle. And come back down to seated. Guide your right leg out. Slide your left foot in. The sole of the foot on the inside seam of the right leg. Set up any support underneath the knees that the body would appreciate. And find your ragdoll forward fold in the seated half butterfly position. That sensation as though you were a ragdoll or a sock monkey, where if someone just sat you down in this position, you just kind of slump forward. Feel that slump. And then notice where your stitching is kind of holding you back. Notice where you feel the sensation here on this side. And really feel it. Stay with it. If it feels like too much, back out. Or if you're not quite feeling it, go deeper. but stay present. Stay present with what's happening now because it's so different from what was happening a moment ago. Notice how it changes with your breath, like the sand changes with the tide. Allow your breath to come and go the same way the tide comes and goes. Allow yourself to ride the wave. Easeful. Relaxed. For this last minute, notice if there are any adjustments you'd like to make to take full advantage of this time in this shape. And slowly place your palms on the ground, straighten your arms, and slide your hands towards you to realign your spine. Let everything reorganize. And we'll move into our final shape, the supine butterfly. So you can take this one with no props on your back, your feet together, your knees wide, you lay on back. You can place a bolster or a blanket or a towel underneath your spine, somewhere it feels good. You can place blocks or blankets or bolsters underneath your knees in a way that feels supportive. Land in a place with your arms wide open. Allow natural inhales to fill your lungs, but notice what part of your lungs are filling each time here when your heart is wide open and vulnerable. And feel your connection to your sacrum, pressing against the floor or against some sort of support. Feel that gentle pressure on your nervous system. And send that message to your nervous system that you are safe, you can relax, you are secure, you can release. Namaste.